Welcome back to the channel where I'm endeavoring to see the world. Today I'm in Universal Orlando Resort and I'm visiting Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure for the first time. That's right, it was our first visit to Universal Orlando and we had a fabulous action-packed day here. But there are some aspects I wish we had known before we arrived. So in this video, I'm going to show you what we got up to, what you shouldn't miss, mistakes to avoid, and some top tips on what to expect. So let's get started, and we chose to start with Islands of Adventure. Up at the crack of dawn, we were pretty early getting to the gates, but we weren't the only ones, and once the gates opened, they became literal floodgates. I guess that can be expected. There are a couple of popular rides that you want to get to first thing located here in Islands of Adventure, and some people were seriously hurrying to get there first. So this is what it was like. I thought it was enough. Get in 1 hour early. If you stay at one of the resort's hotels, a benefit is that you get early park admission where you can enter the park 1 hour before general opening. In our case, 8 o'clock. It was great to see the enthusiasm for sure. Lots of people in costume, from Harry Potter to Minions. Harry Potter seemed especially the one to come as. The two most popular rides worth getting out of breath for are the VelociCoaster in Jurassic World and Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, part of Harry Potter Land. And that's where we're headed. And we made it to Hogsmeade without rushing too much, and got on the ride within 20 minutes, so done and dusted before 8:30. The wizarding world of Harry Potter is split in two. Here in Islands of Adventure you have Hogsmeade, this old-style witches and wizards village with snow-capped roofs, is full of shops, snack and drink vendors, and lots of nooks and crannies to peek into. It was quite surreal walking around, how realistic it is. Carrying through you come to a view of Hogwarts Castle, again with stunning detail. There are two rides here, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, and the Flight of the Hippogriff roller coaster. Inside the castle is Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, and I really recommend that. Don't be put off by the wait time showing. Most of the wait is part of the experience as it snakes through the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry before an exhilarating motion ride on a broomstick. And referring back to our main target earlier, the Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. It has the longest wait times for a reason. Really full of surprises, and not to be missed. Next we're jumping over to the second Harry Potter world in Universal Studios known as Diagon Alley. Now, here is something we wish we had known in advance. There is a ride, Hogwarts Express, that connects the two worlds across the two parks. And we had 2 park tickets to take advantage of this. However, Hogwarts Express was closed for maintenance. So we actually had to exit Islands of Adventure and enter Universal from the main entrance. This took up a bit of our limited time, so I wish we had known to check ride closures beforehand, and we could have accounted for that. But seeing the two villages, very cool with lots of detail. In Diagon Alley there are shops here as well, and also the ride, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. Simulated to look like you're in King's Cross Station in London. There's plenty to see and do. If you are planning a visit and figuring out where to stay, check out my other video reviewing Universal's Aventura Hotel, located within the resort, and I'll put a link to that video in the comments. Back on the main road in Universal Studios, there is a lot of ground to cover. It's good to do a bit of research beforehand and plan your visit around what you want to see the most. However, it was our first visit, so everything was interesting, but you need more than a day for sure if you want to experience each bit. We did choose the Fast and Furious Supercharged ride based on the Fast and Furious movie franchise. You get to pass through a recreation of the crew's headquarters, filled with actual movie props. It was a fully immersive experience with actors and a wild car chase. So I'm recommending it. It was exciting, with special effects, and it was very bumpy. There are a few rides in these parks that involve water, like this one, Popeye and Bluto's Bilge-Rat Barges, located in Toon Lagoon in Islands of Adventure. If it's not a super hot day, I don't recommend getting wet actually, because it's not a sprinkle, you will get soaked. Ponchos can help if you bring or buy one, but not 100%. And you can get the amusement factor just watching others. There are some serious thrill rides here. The VelociCoaster in Islands of Adventure, which was one of the popular rides with long wait times I mentioned in the beginning. Marvel Superhero Island is a concentrated area within Islands of Adventure, where you'll find the Spider-Man attraction, Captain America, and other superheroes and supervillains. There's also restaurants and shops, including, of course, a comic book shop. You can see two of the thrill rides here in the distance. On the left, the Incredible Hulk coaster, which has 7 inversions, and coming up on the right, the Dr. Doom's Fear Fall, which hurdles you vertically upwards 185 feet in 3 seconds, which then drops you again faster than gravity would do it. This ride is meant to be the celebration of fear, so we didn't do it actually. There is also the family-friendly Kingpin's Arcade. One tip from me on the rides is not to be put off by the wait times. Most of the rides have a build-up, so the journey begins quite far in advance of actually reaching the ride, with the storytelling and so much incredible detail they added to these sets to take in. So if there was no wait, you could rush through and miss the full experience. That goes for the outside too. The details are everywhere and really well done, and I would say to avoid rushing and take it all in. Jumping back to Universal Studios, this is Hollywood. Amazing attention to detail to give you the feeling you're in a real movie set, not just a theme park that looks like one. Next door is DreamWorks Land, with lots of kid-friendly attractions like Poe's Kung Fu Training Camp and all of the DreamWorks favorites, Shrek, The Trolls, and Kung Fu Panda. In Islands of Adventure, a good family-friendly area is Toon Lagoon. But it's good for adults too, with all the nostalgia from these classic cartoons. Popeye, Betty Boop, Blondie and Dagwood. There are some highly rated restaurants here like the Comic Strip Cafe. The rides here are mostly water rides, so if you plan to do those, make provision for a change of clothes, or make sure it's a hot day to dry off. There were some human drying machines for hire, but I wouldn't rely on them too much. In summary, I'll share with you my final thoughts and tips from being a first-timer at Universal Orlando. And I'd love to hear yours. Leave your tips in the comments, I might need them next time. We were only going to be in Orlando for one day, in between a flight and boarding a cruise from Port Canaveral. If you're interested in cruising, be sure to check out my other channel, The Walking Cruiser, for ship tours and best of itineraries. My first reflection on Universal Orlando is the choice of a 1-park, 2-park, or even 3-park ticket. There is the Universal's Volcano Bay water theme park that we didn't see at all. I guess it comes down to time, but going again, I wouldn't spend less than one day in each park. We took a chance seeing 2 parks in one day, so had to pick and choose the attractions. But there was too much of interest across both Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. If I had to choose just one, I think it would be Islands of Adventure on reflection, because there was more of the excitement factor. But Universal Studios sure had more of the nostalgia factor. You will no doubt see the option to purchase express passes as an add-on to your park ticket. It gives the option to join a faster line where available. The decision might depend on the season or day of your visit. We were not in peak season and went on a weekday, so I don't think it would have been worth the extra cost. I also think wait times are not always a bad thing with these rides, as a big part of the experience is built into the journey through the lineup. If there is no wait, you don't take it all in. But in peak season or on a weekend, that is definitely something to consider. A note about lockers for the rides. We found these a rather confusing system and mistakenly wasted time trying to figure them out. Just be aware that on some rides, there is a no loose articles policy, but these rides provide free lockers. On rides with no inversions, you only have to secure items on your person, like putting your hat in your shirt and phone in a buttoned pocket. Small bags are even allowed if they are small and secured like a bum bag. Staying on the resort can be a huge advantage because of the perks like transport and the convenience of being close enough to return to your hotel midday, like to change wet clothes for example, or eat off the resort. The dining situation was something else I wish I had known about in advance. Restaurant opening times in the park were late morning, and if you skipped breakfast to be first in line at the entrance, there wasn't much available. Also in the evening, restaurant availability at Universal City Walk was next to zero with long wait times to get a table. So fast food ends up being the only option. Hopefully you won't have to rush away at the end of the day, as some of the most awe-inspiring sights are after dark. Be sure to check what night shows are going to be on during your visit, as they do change frequently. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel to see where I go next. Bye for now.